Hello, YouTube. Annie here, and Jesus Christ, I got no audio as usual. Um, I got myself a new headset with a new mic, and finally got the audio working. But these this headset is really tight, so I don't hear myself talking really. So let's see how this is. So it's Midsummer's Eve, and so happy holidays or something. Uh, one of very few non-Christian holidays we got in this country, um, or maybe even the only one, um, depending on how you view holidays at all. So people are out and about and doing their thing with, you know, uh, maypoles, which sounds really odd because it's June. Hello, May was a fucking month ago. Um, I'm sorry for any audio interference for that. My hair is in the way. Um, and midsummer and people they eat food and have fun and meet family and friends and little old me just sitting inside making a YouTube video. But don't take me wrong, because I'd rather do this, frankly, today. Because today is such a weird day. But anyway, we shouldn't really dig ourselves into that grave, should we? Um, so, topic for today. I don't really have a topic for today. I just talk. I just want to do something, so. Uh, but as I said, non-Christian holiday, and as a non-Christian, I'm kind of happy about that. I'm not Christian. I'm an atheist, and that's. I mean, I look around YouTube and I watch a lot of atheist videos on YouTube, and everywhere other than here, I mean, all those videos, they're mostly Americans, so, and they're all kind of defending their non-belief, which I get, because, I mean, it's a different thing in Sweden. In Sweden, only like 20% of the people actually believe in God, in uh, any sort of religious, uh, you know, a deity, a guy up in the clouds, whatever, what have you. Uh, Sweden don't believe like that, generally. There was this, I think it was on like Europol or something, and it's really annoying not hearing myself. So now this audio is probably gonna get crap because my mic is up in my eye now, but whatever. I think it was on Europol or some similar, you know, thing. And it was like less than 20% believe in God. And then there's this big chunk in the middle, like 40% or something, that believe in something but not in a deity like that. Maybe they believe in, that nature is a god, or well, natural spirits, nature spirits, and things like that, and that there's something. Then there's this chunk of people, that don't believe, and they don't believe in God. I don't know if all of them call themselves atheists. Um, maybe they don't, but a huge part, huge some of them do. So saying in Sweden that I'm an atheist, that's really nothing that anyone cares about. Oh, you don't believe in God, okay. Uh, but then sometimes you get into the discussion, and the discussion It's that, you know, if you're an atheist, are you allowed to celebrate holidays that are Christian or Muslim or Jewish or whatever? All the other denominations out there? Um, are you, you know, allowed to, like, are you allowed to sing carols in Christmas? I mean, and allowed, that's such a silly word. Of course you are, but it's very much up to you if you want to. So, I got this idea that I had for a very long time that, there are lots of holidays and people, it's written into our calendars and, you know, that on these days, like today on Midsummer's Eve, although it's a Friday, uh, the shops close early and, people are on holiday and stuff like that. And Midsummer, as I said, not really Christian, but it's the same around Christmas. But should it be? I mean, what about people who wants to work at Christmas and those who doesn't want to work at Christmas because of, religious reasons? I mean, for me, Christmas and Midsummer and Easter and all of that, it's very, I mean, it's nice traditions, but I wouldn't really care if I was working because I don't think it's an affront to God or anything. Uh, who does nowadays, anyway? Uh, so I was thinking, why not just take all these holidays that you got in a calendar year and just say that, okay, everyone gets 15 days a year, whatever, where they can have a vacation on their holiday. Because now, as it is in Sweden, the holidays are centered around Christian holidays, Christian happenings. But, you know, there might be Jewish people that would rather have vacation on, other days. I don't know. It's just a silly little notion that I had once. It kind of stuck with me, and I think, I mean, I think it's a little this notion that you shouldn't discriminate against anyone, really. Uh, but, well, as I said, just stupid little thought on me. So, that was loud. Sorry about that. Forgot to turn the audio off. Uh, I've said before about this YouTube channel that what I want to talk about, really want to talk about, is food, books, movies, and video games. And I haven't really done all of those, have I? So I just thought I'd say something about it just today, because I don't have anything to do anyway. So, I'm gonna skip food. I don't really know what to say about food, and I could exfoliate on this whole thing that, Sweden and food traditions and holidays, but I don't really feel like doing that right now. I can do that, later. Um, so, I did a long ass rant a couple of weeks ago about games. And I really should be doing another long ass rant about games because E3 was just, last week, and I was thinking all week that, I should do something, I should do something, I should talk about this. And I really should. I was up all night Monday Monday, Tuesday, night because of the press conferences. It's it's a bit evil that they have it in Los Angeles, and I live in Sweden because it's kind of far and there's a huge time difference. So um, the first press conference over there started, local here this time in Sweden. I think it was like 5 o'clock or later. It was like 6:30, something like that. No, not 6:30, 5:30. Sorry, my brain isn't working properly. Um, so and that's where it started, and then it you know went on all night. I think I got to sleep like 5 in the morning. Uh, and it felt kind of like I wasted my time too, because the press conferences were really boring this year. Um, Especially EA's and Ubisoft's press conferences. They were total snoozers. Maybe because I don't really, you know, the EA's press conference, very many years now, it hasn't really been press conference for EA. It has been press conference for EA Sports, and I'm not a fan of sports games. I mean, I'm sorry. I want to play games. I don't want to pretend that I play sports. Um, I know others do, so good for you. But it's not really my thing. And also, what really surprised me at the E3 was the lack of talk of Dragon Age. Because Dragon Age Inquisition, it's just a couple of months away. They released that game in October this year, and that's not long. That's kind of we should know things about that now. I mean, they should talk about that. Um, they should have talked about that a lot more than they did. BioWare should have their own press conference. I know, EA owns BioWare, but hello, BioWare is like one of the best studios out there, uh, which they can improve with not having so damn many games out all the time. They've they've made like, what is it, 10, 12 games now, and they started 20 years ago, almost. Jeez, I remember my first BioWare game. I remember Baldur's Gate. I remember when it was released, and it was one of the first computer games I owned. I think it was like, well, except for some small, silly, learn to count, whatever, that was bundled with our, actually not our first computer, but it was our first computer that was, that had graphics. I think it was uh, Windows 97, something like that. Um, it was the first computer with graphics that we owned in my family. We had computers before that, but they were like, only text-based, and we had text-based games too, which was fun. um, but anyway, so yeah, and another thing with the press conferences was, what was that thing that annoyed me so much? Oh yeah, Square Enix just kind of wasn't there. Um, the only Square Enix game I remember seeing, it might have been more, was the next Tomb Raider, Rise of the Tomb Raider. It sounds like a bad B-movie sequel to me. Rise of the Tomb Raider, or prequel, whatever, uh, or both. It sounds like a huge flashback, you know. So, but not, no Final Fantasy, no Kingdom Hearts, which was annoying. Uh, they said though that they were going to have some sort of press release, minor press conference in a couple of weeks. A couple of weeks after E3 is what they said. So I'm just gonna keep my eye out for that. Because I'm a huge fan of Final Fantasy, which everyone who's ever met me knows. You could probably see that. It's probably written in my forehead. Final Fantasy fan. Um, and Kingdom Hearts as well. I mean, who doesn't like Final Fantasy and Disney? I mean, combining the two could have been catastrophe, but it wasn't. Yay for them. And it was really fun. Um, really fun that they ever conceived of that idea, actually. It was very left field. Very left field 10 years ago. uh, More on the E3 press conference. I'm gonna do a bigger video about E3 too, you know, where I only talk E3, and then I'm also gonna have a greater look at the trailers. I haven't really watched the trailers after I've watched the press conferences, so my memory is starting to fading a bit about it. But one thing that I really want to talk about that is Little Big Planet, because that was such a, you know, no one saw that coming, I think. But yeah, more about that later. So I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna just have to. I'm just gonna have to not stop doing these videos until I've done that. So I'm gonna talk about something I haven't talked about in this channel yet, and that's movies. Movies and television series, and I'm sorry, my water bottle is acting up on me. But movies and TV series, I watch far too little TV series. I have this huge list with TV series that I want to watch, that I should watch, that, you know, I have a I have a phone app. I think it's on my tablet right now, but I got an app, and with a huge list of TV series. Uh, you know, the good thing for me is that I have seen a handful of these TV series before. And there my computer went black. Very interesting. There. I know it's still recording when my screen goes into power saving mode, because that's what it's doing, but it annoys me. So where was I? Oh, TV series. I I got a couple of favorite TV series, and I guess uh, anyone who knows me knows that I'm a fan of the fantasies, and I'm a fan of the science fictions. So that's kind of reflected in my watching TV series, because, you know, very popular TV series. That's another thing about me. When something gets very popular, I just don't want to. I just kind of refuse. But so the popular TV series, you know, around where I'm watching. I mean, it's a lot of, you know, Sons of Anarchy and Revenge, and a lot of dramas, and Desperate Housewives, which I don't get. But um, but that's never really been my thing. I am more I mean, I watch the big crime series up till a point. I mean, I watch NCIS, but for now that's kind of on ice because I watched up till season like 8, I think. But at one point, and CSI did this too, it kind of survives itself when it's no longer funny, when, it's no longer interesting because you've seen it a million times and nothing new happens. You just get a rerun of it, basically. Um, so, so I kind of, I kind of don't really. I guess like what's happens is I get fed up. But on fantasy series, I'm guessing up until now at least, it's a lot about the uh, the channels, and the distributors. Sorry, they kind of don't believe in it or haven't before. So one of my favorites uh, is Buffy the Vampire Slayer, and uh, it kind of. I mean, the two last seasons are a little tired, but they did stop, which I appreciate, really. They continued in comics, but I don't read. I mean, I read comics too, but not Buffy. Um, so that didn't survive itself the way CSI. I mean, it was like Buffy got 7 seasons, and that was fine. They stopped in time before it got out of hand, so to speak. And the funny thing, CSI and NCIS and well, I'm not sure about Bones, but kind of. They are good up until just about season 7. And then I know that like CSI they kind of had a couple of seasons where they weren't fun, where they weren't good, but then they got good again. At least that's what I've heard, because I haven't been watching. But um, so I think that about 7 seasons is how long you should run a show, and then start doing something new. And I'm also like thinking very much about like actors and things like that, because after a while you stop. I mean, while you watch a show, you want to see the characters, but sometimes actors become their characters, and that's not really fun. um, I mean, I want to see actors changing up. I want to see new stuff. I want, directors and producers change it up too, because it gets kind of one note if they never do that. Um, so yeah, I've got a lot of TV series standing on shelves, um, and a lot of TV series that I should be watching that I haven't yet. Um, my next project for watching after I finished watching Cosmos, but that's not really what we're talking about here. Which is great, by the way. Just it's gorgeous. Watch that. But my next TV series that I'm gonna jump on. Uh, well, it will probably be the 4th season of Game of Thrones. I watched the other three, and I kind of feel like I need to see them again to get in the mood of seeing four, because I haven't really. I kind of dismissed season four of Game of Thrones because. Not because the series is not good, because it really is, but it just. I think I need to get in some kind of mood. So it was the same thing with, season one. I just didn't see. Didn't start watching Game of Thrones until. Well, I think they were halfway through season two. That's when I started watching. Then I would just watch the two first seasons, on a weekend, almost. Um, so I gotta watch that someday. And then I don't really know. There's so much to watch, and I just don't really know where to turn sometimes. I guess I'll just do what I do when I don't know what to do with, the things like this. Is I grab a number generator, a random number generator, and I just pick a number and I count out what I get. Um, in decisions, someone else have to decide for me sometimes. Um, and I got the same problem, with movies. I got this huge watch list. It's the same watch list, I think. Well, pretty much the same watch list um, on several sites. And I got over 500 movies on them. And I've probably seen more than a handful of them. I've probably seen like 200 of those movies, but they're still on the watch list because. Uh, so I got a lot of that too. And I wish two things. I wish I went to the movies more often. I don't really do that. And I wish that we weren't so goddamn far behind in this country. So I could actually watch movies that are released, in time. It's getting better. It is, I promise. But so I got no idea what's on the release schedule this week. I haven't checked, but it's probably something I want to see. Um, I have still to see. I have still to see the new Godzilla movie, but I've never really been interested. I think it's some sort of sibling rivalry here, because um, my brother, he's into it, and as I said before, when people are into stuff, I kind of don't get into them. I was the same with my mother too. She said this is really good, and you gotta read this book, or you gotta watch this movie, I was always like, no, don't want to. It's just a quirk of mine. Uh, but I'm uh, damn screensaver. I got this. I got this list over movies I own that I've actually divided up in a handful. Actually, I've divided them up by alphabetically. So, and I'm gonna do YouTube videos about that too, one day, about uh, what I got there. And it's surprisingly little Swedish movies. Um, I think mostly that is just Astrid Lindgren movies. That's in Swedish. Uh, I don't. I don't. As an adult, I think these past. I've been an adult, legally for 11 years. I don't think I've seen 11 Swedish movies in those 11 years. I don't think I have seen 5 Swedish movies in those 11 years. So, don't come to my channel if you're from the US or some other country and check out my Friday videos. That yeah, I'm going to get back to it. And expect Swedish movies because I don't watch those. Maybe one day I'll talk about Fanny and Alexander, but probably not. That's like the newest Swedish movie I've seen. Uh, but uh, if I'm going to, if I'm just on the spot right here, right now, gonna, you know, recommend a Swedish movie, that's not Fanny and Alexander, because no, already said that. Um, you know, I'm not one for recommending movies like that out of the blue, because I always want to know what people want to see before I recommend movies. But if I'm gonna recommend one, then I would probably just not do that at all. Um, but it would probably be a Bergman movie, probably Persona, which is kind of cheating because that's also, uh, you know, a Bergman movie, just like Fanny and Alexander. But I don't know, it fascinates me. Um, yeah. So moving on. What more was I talking about? Oh, right, books. Books, 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 books. I got 2 million books on the backlog, I think. Um, I love reading. I've been reading my whole life. I started reading quite early, and I've read very advanced things very early. I read I read The Lord of the Rings when I was 7. And that's not me bragging, that's just who I am. I was 7 years old when I read The Fellowship. I don't think I read Two Towers or Return of the King, but I read the Fellowship of the Ring when I was 7. Um, and uh, I read. Oh God, I don't remember what it's called, even in Swedish right now. That huge four-parter about people moving from Sweden to the US in the 1800s. My memory is a memory right now. I'm sorry about that. I'll probably get it in a second. Um, anyway, I read that, and that's like as big as The Lord of the Rings, and I read that when I was 9. Um, so, so yeah, I've always been reading. I've always been reading far too much and far too crazy things. And I've always, as I said before, I'm a fantasy girl. I love fantasy. So I read a lot of that. And I'm reading that right now. I'm reading the books from Brannion right now. Uh, which it's my favorite coalition of genres. It's fantasy and it's history and it's yaoi. And little old me, history buff, fantasy lover, and yaoi, both reader and writer. I'm just kind of in heaven right now. So, yeah, I'm happy. Before I read these, I read uh, the first book. What's it called again? As I said, today my memory is a memory. I think it's because it's kind of hot. Um, the Stone Prince, thank you. The Stone Prince. Before I read that, I read the last part of the Night Runner series, which was awesome. And I read the whole Night Runner series. I kind of found it really late. I think I found it 2 years ago, and I found it in a shop in Stockholm where they're known for importing fantasy and science fiction books, and it's their big thing. And they had a focus shelf or something like that during during Pride that year, and they had Casket of Souls up there, and I just kind of thought, yeah, I gotta read that. Casket of Souls, yes. Um, I had no idea what that was, and I didn't read that. I actually read them in order, the Night Runner series. But I ordered the Casket of Souls and the three first books, I think. Yeah. Only in the web shop where I bought them, they had marked them wrong. So what I got, instead of getting book 1, 2, 3, and 4 that it said I was getting, I actually got book 1, 2, 3, and 6. Or 5. 6. 6. Um, which made me a not so happy girl. Because I wanted to read them in order. Of course. But I read those, the three first, I read those in a single weekend, which was interesting. I was kind of dead after that. But they're great books, and people say, I mean, if you don't know what yaoi is, and I just put the yaoi label on everything that is reminiscent of it. Yaoi is it's I almost say gay propaganda, but it's not what I meant. But it is about gay guys, which no one should have a problem with, really. And it's, some say, me and my sis, we used to say, jokingly that it's gay porn, but it's not gay porn. It can be, but, it's not necessarily. It's, it's the whole spectrum, and I just put the yaoi label on it. And, I can label anything yaoi, because I can make it yaoi in my mind, and when I write. But anyway, if you haven't read the Night Runners and are not homophobic, please do, because they are great, and they're very. I mean, it's it's yaoi the right way, where where the love story is in the background and to the side, and it's the fantasy adventure and the political intrigues and the magic and the night running and all of that, it's in the foreground, and the love story is a kind of, oh yeah, and we're partners too. We're not just partners in crime. Not really crime, but we're not just working partners, we're also bed partners. And that shouldn't bother anyone, to me, just because I'm free thinking. Uh, so yeah, the books for adults, uh, or for anyone who, is over 14 and knows how to think, basically. Um, so yeah, that's kind of that's my favorite kind of book, really. Those those fantasies. Um, oh well, I'm just gonna clean this very weird rant up with saying that yes, I'm a writer, but no, I won't ever get published because that's not my goal. My goal is to have fun. But writing can be a lot of things, and to me, I guess in a way it's always been kind of therapeutic and also a great way to rid myself of boredom. Don't ask me how many hours I spent sitting in school, but not doing anything other than writing. Uh, listening to teachers was actually I did. I got a lot of people who think I don't listen when I'm doing more than one thing at the same time, but I actually do, which I proved. It was really fun when I was in equivalent to high school. I had a teacher that sort of wondered what I was doing while while I was writing, and didn't think that I had listened. So gave me a question on what had just been said, and I kind of proved at that moment that yes, I'm listening, but I'm writing at the same time. Um, One day I think I'm gonna do a video about my writing too. I don't know, uh, but I I sort of sometimes think to do a YouTube video about the couple that I've been writing about for 15 years that still don't have a cohesive narrative or a book or anything. But I've been writing about them for 15 years and I got snippets here and there, and I probably got 400 pages about them, but they don't really connect. I got 400 pieces of paper with long texts on them that don't connect, which is really, really stupid, honestly. So, and also, just note to self, basically, I really gotta take on the task I set myself one day that uh, I have a huge questionnaire, interview questions. I should really sit down and this is gonna sound so schizophrenic. Sit down and talk to the characters I write about and interview them and see where I get. It's something I've recommended others to do, and I have done a little too. Um, I got this half-finished interview on my blog with one of my characters. And yeah, I know this is sounding really totally weird, but sometimes we gotta be weird, right? We just gotta do that. Gotta go there sometime. Um, so, yeah, I'm talking too much again about weird things with no uh, thought behind it, really. Well, I mean, I got thought behind it, but I got no structure. And I don't really know, I don't even really know why I do it, but it's just something I can do. And maybe, just maybe, I can at least entertain someone. Um, so yeah, I'm gonna go do that E3 video now. Rant for 45 more minutes about E3. But I'll just hope that too entertains someone. Yeah. So, I guess I gotta finish this with saying what we always say on Midsummer. Really. Um, have fun, drink in moderation, and don't forget the condoms. See ya.
まるで悲しみを洗い流すように今も瞳の中映っているのは何も変わらない君だけを最後に聞いた言葉だけが胸に取り残されたようにこの想い届け君のもとへ悲しみをメロディーに乗せて